Hey, what is up YouTube? Andrew Rooney here. This is part 2 of the things that I learnt at jazz school. Now if you scroll back through my videos, you'll find part 1 where I talked about gear and what I somewhat would call now the gear myth. That being a great player, you need all the gear, and you need gear to achieve this and you need gear to achieve that. Slightly different topic this time. This one is all about how I discovered that growth is painful. Growth in your drumming, or growth, I guess, in any area you want to improve in greatly, it's going to be quite painful. There's a great saying that good medicine always tastes bad, or I think the original Chinese proverb is something like, translates into the good medicine tastes bitter, something like that. But that really kind of nails the point for me that growth is painful. And I'm going to give you 2 examples of things that were, again, quite game-changing and quite important. And I guess if I still think about these things today, 15 years, I started the course in 2006. So this is, a good 15 years after these things happen. The fact that I still think about them and still, I guess, use them in my own teaching and my own way of learning is testament to the fact that they were quite profound and quite impactful for me. So the first thing that happened was we had one of the classes at jazz school was percussion ensemble. Now this is where all the drummers and the whole entire school, classical and jazz, there were no pop drummers at the time, so it's just the classical and jazz players. We would all get together and do drum focused pieces of music. So it could be tuned percussion, marimba, vibes, snare drum pieces, anything. Anyway, the first session of that, bright-eyed bushy tail, turn up, first year, and we all we made like a little circle, a drum circle, with the instructor Ron Sampson, who's a bit of a legend around town, Canadian jazz player. He got us all to sit around. We all had our practice pads and our sticks. Now he came around and he dropped off a sheet of paper to all of us, and the paper was a snare drum solo. And he got to me and handed me the paper, and I thought, oh cool, we're going to learn this 2-hour percussion ensemble session is going to be learning this snare drum piece. Cool, I'm into that. Thought I was pretty decent. I can read, I can read. This is going to be fun. He hands it around to everybody, and then he's just counts it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play. Now, myself and the other 2 first-year drummers, we sat there, mouth open, sticks, didn't play a note. And within that count-off, I've talked about this a lot of times on my podcast, and I think on a few of the videos as well. It might be hard to portray why that was so impactful, or how I really felt about that scenario, that incident, if you want to call it, the count-off practice pad percussion ensemble incident. But I realized then, within 4 beats, within a count-off, that a lot of things. I realized I was out of my depth. The year 2 and year 3 and honors masters students, they played through the solo and they just slammed it out, this page of a relatively difficult medium snare piece. So I was like, oh, these guys are really good, and I'm not good. I'm at the bottom. And a lot of times, if you're a serious player, and I guess you are, if you're even bothering to watch this video, you want to improve and you take your music seriously enough, that can be quite crushing when you're at the bottom again. But it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be at the bottom, because then you see the level. So these things become very clear and it's such a powerful memory and image of, your place. At that time and moment, I knew where I was, and I knew where I wanted to get to. I can see it. It's not impossible. These guys have also just been getting handed the same piece that I got, except I can't play it. I don't have the facility, the knowledge, the reading chops. Wow, I just can't do this. It's something I just point blank cannot do. And a full immersion course like university is somewhere where you're going to be put in these uncomfortable situations. And as I said before, growth is painful, uncomfortable. Now, that was one. Hopefully I'm probably not fully portraying how awkward and big moment that was. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, and I still think about it now. So, there you go. I mean, there were many of these situations at university, but the second one, first combo night. So combo, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, jazz combos are when you get put into little groups, 4 or 5 people typically, and yeah, we got put with an instructor, and we prepared a couple of songs, and then we're gonna, at the end of the first term, actually play these songs for the entire jazz department. Very nerve-wracking, especially in your first year. So, I mean, we had chosen relatively simple songs, and I was still struggling with them. I thought, but pre-jazz school, I thought I could play those type of songs okay. At jazz school, I realized I wasn't playing them at the level that I needed to. Now, this combo concert, it was a thing where, well, jazz, you need to improvise. Everybody needs to take a solo. And I'm still not a comfortable drum soloist. I don't consider myself a soloist. It's not kind of what I get hired to do most of the time. Normally to play pocket or, gigs, and there's normally not a lot of call for drum solos. And I just didn't have a lot of knowledge of them. I didn't have a lot of things to draw on for a drum solo. And every combo concert, you need a solo or a couple of solos, preferably a solo on every single tune you're doing. Even if it doesn't necessarily serve the song, we want to see you taking a solo over that. This is about you, your growth. You need to take a solo. So I was pretty horrified about this, and I knew I could not do a good solo at all. Nowhere near the chops, ideas, background, or the history of listening to jazz to do a good drum solo at this concert. But I have to do one. And this is the thing of the good medicine always tastes bad. Outside of that environment, I could have just not done it. I could have not turned up, or I could have just talked to my band and said, I just won't take a solo today. It's all good. This environment, no. You are taking a solo. And even, I don't know if I said anything, if I'm like, I'm not comfortable taking a solo, it's too bad. You are taking a solo. You will be doing a solo. And the solo was really bad. And this is in front of the entire jazz school. Everybody seated, focused, paying attention. Not like a gig where people are drinking and talking. Concert hall type scenario. People are seated, paying attention. What's going on? Drum solo. Let's watch the drum solo. Eyeballs on you, playing a solo when you know you cannot do a solo. Awkward. Hashtag awkward. But there's no way out. And on the next concert, you're going to be doing another one. And that's very daunting, but also very, you're doing the hard things. These are the hard things, the things that are outside your comfort zone that you find difficult. And this is where the growth lies. I mean, I wouldn't even say by the end of the degree that I was a great soloist, or even a good, adequate soloist. I wouldn't even say that. But just being in the situation where You have to do something that's completely out of your comfort zone. You have to do your best, and basically there's no way out of this. You have to do this. It's a completely different mindset, and I mean, I would compare the flip side of this, the complete opposite, something like, let's say there's something you're really good at. Maybe it's a song. I've recently been doing Interstate Love Song, Stone Temple Pilots song, with a couple of students. Let's say you got really good at that song. And when you were practicing, every time you went into the practice room, you'd play Interstate Love Song. And you know, you feel like $1 million, and it's just the best feeling ever. You're just crushing the song. You know, every little nook and cranny, every little corner of that song, you've got it down, and you are just burying the original drum part and killing it. And it's a great feeling. It feels really good. And you just did that for like 6 months. Let's say you just did that for 6 months, amongst other stuff, but maybe finish off your session with Interstate Love Song, or start it with that to feel good. I think that is the default position with a lot of musicians, a lot of drummers, is that comfort position. It's understandable. So what I learned was the real growth, where things are going to change for you, is when you step outside of that. There's nothing wrong with playing a song that makes you feel good, that you know you can nail. That's really important. You don't always want to feel bad about your playing, but also to step way outside and just go for it and just keep going down that route. And I can honestly say, even in the first year, I was playing in an originals band at the time, and I kept that originals band up for my first year of uni. And I mean, I felt so bad about my playing in that first year, but I would go back to the originals practice, and you know, I'm feeling like crushed, like, oh, I'm so bad. And I'd be at the originals practice, and the whole band would just be going, "Whoa, what has happened to your drumming, man? What do you mean? Oh my god, this is insane how much you've improved." And I don't say that to brag, it's just the way it was. There had been real growth, and other people had noticed it. And it's because of these things. It's, well, time on the instrument, a bit more mileage, and just hitting things that I'm not comfortable with, and being pushed to levels that I would never have pushed myself to before, tried things that I would never have tried before. So yeah, I would love your feedback on this video, and let me know if there was any kind of situations like this where you felt like you had pushed your comfort zone and it really paid off in your playing, or whether you feel like you're stuck in a rut and you need something new. Hit me in the comments. I would love to check out what you've got to say about this video, something a little bit different for the channel. So I hope you enjoy that. And yeah, hey, if you dig it, of course, subscribe, like, really important. And yeah, I will see you on the next video. Ciao for now.